off of turn 4. Hits the accelerator. Will lead the field across the line, and Chuck Knight with the big run on the outside will sneak out in front of Brian Brown, have second place, and Johnny Coates, who was well deep in the field at that last yellow flag, now he is up in the mix as he is in fourth, looking to the outside of Brown, looking to make it 3 wide as Hendricks to the inside. He is a bottom feeder to say the least off of turn 4. He will take that 4th spot away from Johnny Coates, looks for more as he sneaks to the inside of the 69, pulls up side by side in turn 1, but Brown will have the advantage with a big run off of turn 2.
Looks like it may be the end of the night for Colton Borland, Shane, as the 2 car is off the pace. He will exit in the top of turn number 2 as everybody continues to chase Gene Davlin. That time around, almost a 7/10 of a second advantage over Chuck Knight. Borland doesn't seem to make it all the way off the track, and that way maybe he'll bring one back the next time we're here. They can throw a tri-tip on it.
I'm thinking Big Buck would be perfect for that. Just saying. As the green flag in the air again, and Davlin out in front, but has company to the inside as Chuck Knight pulls even with him off of turn 2. Brian Brown now back in third, looking to see which line he wants to take. He stays middle of the track, as does the 26 of Davlin. Davlin by a half a car length at the line over Chuck Knight. Hendricks to the inside of Johnny Coates. That's a fight for fourth. Hendricks will have that over the number 35 off of turn 4, has his eyes set on the back bumper of the 69. The crosshairs are locked in as he drops to the inside, trying to take third away from him, has a nose out as they're nearly 3 wide off of turn 4.
Great battle between David Hendricks and Johnny Coates there, 4th and 5th, both chasing Brian Brown in the 69. 2 more good cars behind them, Cody Frazen and Aaron Poe. The Raven races to the bottom of the racetrack, currently in 7th. As he tries to pick up a spot and get up into the mix with Coates and Brown, looking for a top 5 finish here. Right now, though, Chuck Knight a half a second behind Gene Davlin as Davlin continues to race here with 8 laps to go.
And Toby Ott is just out on a Saturday evening drive. He sits back in 9th right now. I want to say probably for him it's all about not tearing your car up and having to do any more work to it as the season winds down. He has the championship underneath his belt. There's no questions asked in it. So he is just out in 9th. Escamilla in 10th, looking to take that spot away from him. The 26 out in front. He will peek to the inside off of turn 4. It's a drag race down the front stretch. Davlin will win it, but Chuck Knight does have his nose up on the inside. Davlin with the run off of 4. He will put a car length in between the 26 and the 60, but here comes Johnny Coates. Coates to the inside of the 35. Haven't mentioned his name much as he was just mired back in 3rd and 4th. He gets around Brian Brown, and now he is contending for that 2nd spot.
Johnny Coates has had a good run this season, Shane. 2 wins on the year, 1 on Thursday Night Thunder, 1 all the way back in April. 11 top 10s out of 12 features. He has been a consistent driver week in and week out here at the Diamond of Dirt tracks, and right now he rides in 3rd in the 35.
5 laps left in this 20-lap feature. Gene Davlin now has no competition at all back behind him as Chuck Knight has his hands full with the 35. Johnny Coates continues to peek to the inside of the 60, has to drop back right behind him again as they cross underneath the flag stand with 4 laps left. That will allow Davlin to stretch his lead out even more. It's now up to a 0.8 second advantage. There's more trouble off of turn 4. He had been trying to go down to the inside of the 26 on the last few restarts. That did not work. He tries the outside, and that's even worse as he isn't able to catch up with the 26 at all. Nearly opens the door for Johnny Coates, but off of turn 2, they are able to stretch it back out. Now Brian Brown to the outside of the 35. That's a fight for 3rd. Brown, who had been running up front, had lost a couple of positions, and now that is a side-by-side battle. The only battle in the top 10 cars is for 3rd with Coates to the inside, Brian Brown to the outside. 2 blue and black cars side by side. Coates now with the advantage off of turn 4 by an entire car length over the 69. The 26 continues to check out with 2 laps left in this one. Gene Davlin off of turn 2, lead now up to 0.6 seconds over Chuck Knight in the number 60. White flag will fly this time around for Davlin off of turn 4. 4-car length advantage over Chuck Knight. Johnny Coates back in third, Brian Brown in fourth, and Cody Frazen rounds out your top 5. The 26th, the newcomer out of Shady Point, Oklahoma, Gene Davlin off of turn 4. He'll spy the checkered flag first. He will win your final feature of the regular season.
For the first 5 cars in the front of the pack, our heat race winners from earlier tonight, Newell and Jackson, will find the front here and bear down as the B-Mods get going here in our second feature of the night. 20 laps around. A wild race, cars beating on one another in the back of the pack, but it's the Ruble Racing engine of Chris Jackson that rolls out in front here and will lead them around for lap number 1. Jackson second in the points race in 2017, but he hasn't run second to much of anybody here this season. He is number 1 in the track points chase here at Lucas Oil Speedway, number 1 in the B-Mod National points race, and right now he is out to a comfortable lead over J.C. Newell. 1.1 seconds the advantage from Jackson back to the 83.
That 83 of J.C. Newell was bad fast in the heat race. Matter of fact, those top 3 cars were all extremely sporty in their 8-lap heats. You mentioned that Ruble Racing power plant that number 65 has underneath the hood as a tangle over in turn 4.
Will slow his roll, and then it'll be hammered down for the B-Mods, and everybody chases the 65 as the green flag goes up, and they race their way through 1 and 2. Moore around the top of the track, Newell around the bottom. Moore can't make up any ground. Now he will take his car back up top again. The 00 slides around the cushion at the top of the track, gets a good run, but opens the door for Andy Bryant, the young driver from Fort Scott, Kansas, and there is a huge mess. A huge mess. Everybody down through 3 and 4, and then it's hammer down for the driver, the 65, as we go back to green flag racing. Bruce Cordy with that green flag in hand, and Andy Bryant goes back to the only place where he likes to be, up around the top of the Diamond of Dirt tracks. He dive bombs his way through 3 and 4, trying to chase down Taylor Moore, as everybody follows the 65 around the racetrack. A half a second lead for Jackson over the driver, the 83J, J.C. Newell. The other Newell entry in the race tonight, collected and damaged, shortening his night. Right now, Chris Jackson not shortening but adding to his lead as it grows to over a second now. 5 laps in, 15 laps to go for the driver from Lebanon, Missouri. Andy Bryant now has made it a race for third as he pulls up alongside the 00 of Taylor Moore. Bryant at the top of the track will swing it around the top of turn number 4 and be side by side as they enter turn number 1. Moore at the bottom of the track, Bryant at the top. See what sort of run Andy gets off the top of turn 2. He gets a good charge down the back straightaway as they enter turn 3 now. All the while, Josh Kane continues to ride in 5th, but here comes Dylan McCowan, the youngster, as he tries to get himself a top 5 spot.
And that is something else that is so special about this class is the youth that is in it. Dylan McCowan, Austin Joplin, Dayton Pursley, all the guys that are still in their teens.
The 19 is going to bring out yet another caution as Bray.
Just in the nick of time.
Much better restart this time for J.C. Newell as he tries to stay in the tire tracks of the 65, driven by Chris Jackson. Jackson, Newell, Moore, Bryant, Kane run 1 through 5. Again, Dylan McCowan trying to break in the top 5, but he'll have to get around the 3J of Kane. Bryant at the bottom of the racetrack now pulls up alongside Taylor Moore, and he's going to try and take away the 3rd spot. They've all of a sudden Shane flip-flop running lines on the track as Moore is up around the top of the track, but that's not where his car wants to be. Andy Bryant taking over 3rd place as Moore up around the cushion. We'll see that 00 slide off the top of turn number 4, and he gives up ground not only to the 28, but now Josh Kane getting closer to taking away 4th. He brings Dylan McCowan with him.
Yeah, how many times have we seen drivers go to the top side like a Darren Fuquay and try to get around the rim and get traction and get runs off of turns? It's not working right now for the 00 of Taylor Moore, as he has lost a lot of ground to Andy Bryant. He's about to lose another position or two.
Midway through our Ozark Golf Cars USRA B-Mod feature, Chris Jackson's lead now 1.6 seconds over J.C. Newell. Newell trying to close the gap, and he does. He clips 0.2 of a second off that time, but it's almost 3 seconds back to Andy Bryant and Josh Kane running in fourth, Dylan McCowan in fifth, as Taylor Moore will surrender 2 more spots and fall out of the top 5. Justin Comer runs in sixth, Mark Long in seventh, Ryan Eddy behind him. Everybody, for the most part, is single file on the racetrack now as Rusty Rickard gets a nose in underneath the 15, then lets off the gas as they enter turn number 1. Austin Joplin and Quentin Taylor run side by side further back in the field as J.C. Newell continues to give chase on Chris Jackson. Jackson expanding that lead back to 1.7 seconds with 7 laps to go.
And how familiar has this been all season long? Whenever Chris Jackson gets out in front, he just pulls away from the field. Very rarely has anybody been able to keep up with him on lap times, lap after lap. And Chris Jackson again continues to pull away even more over J.C. Newell, up to a 1.8 second advantage.
Adds almost 0.2 to the lead now for the driver of the 65. That Factory 56 race car, sponsored by Vans Motor Sales and Joe's Pharmacy, who has been in the top 5 each and every feature this year. And those top 5 finishes have given him a 50-point lead over J.C. Morton, whose car expired earlier in the night and has been unable to go in that B-Mod. Now just 4 laps separate Jackson from another championship here at the Diamond of Dirt Tracks. The 65 glued to the bottom of the racetrack. J.C. Newell now 2 seconds behind the race leader. Andy Bryant almost an equivalent distance back, about 2 seconds behind the car in second place. Then it's Kane and Dylan McCowan rounding out the top 5. Taylor Moore had been running up front. A top 3 car faded back to 6th after he was forced up to the top line around the racetrack, and his car did not fare well there as Jackson comes barreling off of turn number 4 now with just 2 laps remaining. Jackson has not come off that bottom line of the racetrack at all tonight. Drifts up down the backstretch, right back to the bottom of the racetrack through 3 and 4. And as he comes off of turn number 4, he will see the white flag. Jackson was the Lucas Oil Speedway B-Mod champion in 2012, 2013, and 2014. He has his eyes on a 2018 B-Mod National Championship, but tonight he will earn his 4th B-Mod Track Championship here at Lucas Oil Speedway. Chris Jackson, the feature win and a championship night.
Yeah, it's really good to be here and finish out the year with a win. We've been pretty good this year, but I decided to try a few things on our car tonight. It seemed to really work good, so I want to say thanks to all our sponsors.
If Robert Heidenreich is able to go around the number 5 and pick up the win here this evening. This time the start is good. The 1X pulls out in front of the number 5 as they go filing into turn number 1. Keeps a nose out in front, but Reed, with a lot of momentum up on that high side, has to check up as Matt Johnson clips across the front of his car and is able to hold on to that top spot with the 134 of Hollywood. Dropping back to 3rd, Lucas Gibbs in 4th, and then Peyton Phillips goes single file 1 through 5 with John Sheets, the first to fall out of line, looking on the top side to try to find a different line and get around the 98.
Chase Jones now trying to go to the top of the racetrack and find some room to move around some of these other cars. The 21s of Ryan Middaugh and Tracy Wolf, among others, now as John Sheets will try to make it a 2-car battle for 5th, but he falls back in line behind the 98 of Peyton Phillips.
Well, 1X out in front of Matt Johnson. He will look to bust this one open as he flies off of turn 4. Hollywood, Robert Heidenreich on the outside gets a good run, and he's gotten that car dialed in. He will lose a little bit of ground up on the top side, giving way to Robbie Reed, who gets out by 3 car lengths. Then it's side by side back deeper in the field for 4th with Gibbs on the inside, Peyton Phillips on the outside. Gibbs will have the advantage. Now the 8S of John Sheets will look to follow suit, but Peyton Phillips is able to get back down, pinch him down just a little bit over in turn 1 and 2, keep him from having that momentum. But how about the 51? That is Gibbs continuing to make a charge towards the front. He's to the inside of Heidenreich, has that advantage as he moves up to the high side, gets in front of the 134, but it's all Matt Johnson out in front. A feature winner earlier this year. He had that win back in weekly show number 8. A brand new car for him this year. The handful of times he has been here, he's gotten a win, a couple of their top 5s, a top 10. So that 1X is hooked up whenever he loads off the trailer and continues to run well here in Wheatland.
We're running on lap number 5. This is the 5th time that the 1X has been here. 4 top 10s coming into the night, 3 top 5s, and that win that came back on June 29th to wrap up the racing month of June, and nobody is touching him right now. A full 2 seconds advantage over your point leader, Robbie Reed. And again, that G51 has been moving toward the front, but now it's got to get around Robbie Reed's number 5 after he put Hollywood Robert Heidenreich behind him. Heidenreich sitting in 4th, Peyton Phillips running number 5 in the order right now as Tracy Wolf dives underneath the 0-3 of Chase Jones, trying to pick up a spot here as the veteran now gets the 0-3 behind him, and he'll look to run down John Sheets.
Well, if you can believe this, the top 5 that started the race are all still the top 5. There's only been one change of position as Matt Johnson started on the pole. He's still out in front. Robbie Reed started in 2nd. That's where he's at. Heidenreich has fallen 1 spot back to 4th, where Lucas Gibbs has taken over that 3rd position. And then Peyton Phillips, who started in 5th, he's still in 5th. So not a lot of movement with the top cars as they got their passing points through the heat races. And I think they've shown that that system that they have to determine who has the fastest cars may indeed be just about right, because that's how they started and that's how they run.
Everybody too, Shane, running nose to tail, really no side-by-side racing anywhere on the racetrack now. Everybody just out turning laps as we go 1 lap past the midway point here. Now, Matt Johnson is going to have to start thinking about lap traffic here before too long. The 3J of Josh Kane running the top of the racetrack right now. Looks like he may be the first victim of the 1X.
Matt Johnson's last time around, he led by 1.8 seconds. Reed cut 0.2 of a second off that time around as he gets it down to a 1.6 second deficit. But again, lap traffic might play a factor here in the closing laps as the top 5 cars all spread out down the entire front stretch with 7 laps left. Jason Pursley now off the track, and that will do it as Robbie Reed will end up being your track champion with Pursley off the track. Nobody else even close. But now it's all about who gets the win. Matt Johnson out in front of Robbie Reed, and the deficit down to 1.4 seconds.
But how about this, Shane? It's almost equal all the way through the top 5. It's a second and a half from 1st to 2nd, almost a second and a half to 3rd to 4th and to 5th, as they're all just strung out by an equivalent time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way around.
You know, Jason Pursley 2 years ago lost on the last lap to Jeff Cutshaw for a championship. He will come up bridesmaid again this year, finishing 2nd in the championship point standings with 4 laps left in this one. Matt Johnson has caught up to lap traffic. They are on the low side. They are on the high side. How will the 1X work his way through the tail end of the field with the number 5 breathing down his neck? Robbie Reed will try to find a way to get through lap traffic as well, and on top of that, with 3 laps left, get around your race leader and Matt Johnson.
And what was a second and a half lead, Shane, is now closer to a half a second. Just 7/10 now, the differential between the 1X and the 5 of the man from Mexico, Missouri.
So Matt Johnson still has not put anyone a lap down. Actually, there was one car that went a lap down, and they have now gone off the track. Now Matt Johnson goes to the inside. He will be right in the tire tracks of the number 23 of Lucas Dobbs. That will be the next car to go a lap down, but it's only one lap left. Matt Johnson may not even have to put anybody a lap down after this, as he has a good advantage over Robbie Reed. It is now 0.7 of a second. Matt Johnson has come into Lucas Oil Speedway earlier in the year, picked up a feature win. He will make it 2 wins on the season. As the 1X Mexico, Missouri's Matt Johnson picks up the win. Tonight, second place was good enough for Robbie Reed to become the next member to win a championship here at Lucas Oil Speedway in the Pitts Homes USRA Modified Division.
Yeah, it feels good to be back here. It's been a rough couple of weeks. The car's been good, just either the driver error or tinkering with the setup or something, but man, tonight was great. I can't say enough about Scott Bailey Racing Engines, MB Custom Race Cars, TMR Technologies, Tommy McCoy. He's the brains behind all this. I'm just the dummy behind the wheel.
3 cars all vying for one track championship as Johnny Fenewald will let the late models loose here and lead them around as they enter turns 1 and 2. Johnson behind him in second, but Richwine vying for that spot as the 7 and the 42 go door handle to door handle. The 7 gets sideways. Who will get collected in this one? Everybody gets around it clean. Holy cow!
How in the world did that happen? As the 7 gets sideways in front of everybody, Morant goes high side, Cornell goes low side. They all get around him.
Right now, though, Johnny Fenewald is the one that's the beneficiary as everything got crazy behind him. The Flash has a 1.1 second advantage over the 42H of Chad Richwine. Aaron Morant behind him in third. Caden Cornell now will pull up alongside the 51 of Larry Ferris, and they will go side by side as they work their way off of turn number 4. Cornell gets a nose out in front and will barrel into the bottom of turn number 1. He's got 3 cars to get around as Cornell, looking for that first ever track championship here at the Diamond of Dirt track, has some work to do. Meanwhile, Johnny Fenewald continues to add to his lead. It was a second a moment ago, Shane. Now it's 2 seconds as we're 4 laps into this 20-lap feature. 13 cars on the track tonight for the Warsaw Auto, Marine, and RV ULMA late models. And it is the Flash right now, but a good battle starting for second place now as Aaron Morant is reeling in the 42 of Richwine.
And I will tell you, if a caution doesn't come out, this could get stunk up real quick as Fenewald just continues to lead everyone else, and I don't think anybody has anything for the 21 as far as catching up with him. If they got to him with a caution, maybe a different story, but right now the Flash is checked out.
Richwine falling back now as the racer from Richmond puts him back a spot. Morant now in control of second place, and here comes Caden Cornell. Cornell now trying to take third away from Chad Richwine. Caden and that Rick Hoover-owned Hatfield race engine ride. The white 5-0 now has the preferred line as they enter turn number 3. He gets around Richwine, and the top 3 in points are now the top 3 in the running order as Johnny Fenewald puts Bob Cummings a lap down. That means Aaron Morant and Caden Cornell will have to navigate their way around the Bob's Auto Shack number 6 if they want to try and catch up to Johnny Fenewald. But Johnny is flying around the racetrack. How about a 4.3 second lead now for the Flash as he is checking out on the field? Morant has gotten around the lap car. Now Cornell will do so as well, bringing Ashley Lancaster with him, the driver of the 16. Currently sitting in 4th place, and she gets a little sideways on the exit of 4, but holds on to that race car as Cornell and Morant are an entire straightaway behind Johnny Fenewald. Fenewald underneath the flag stand. Wait for it. Here comes Morant. The lead now almost 5.5 seconds, more than halfway through this 20-lap feature. Fenewald, Morant, Cornell, 1, 2, 3. Lancaster, Richwine, Cox, 4, 5, 6. Then Ryan Johnson, who started on the front row, has been shuffled all the way back to 7th in the 7J. Fenwald now puts Cowboy Daniel Jessen down a lap as well, as when he comes around again, there will be 7 laps remaining. The green flag laps are just ticking away, and that means time is ticking away on the championship hopes of Aaron Morant and Caden Cornell. Fenwald now mired in lap traffic as he's going to go around Bob Cummings for his second time and try to put Larry Jones a lap down. Fenwald's car firing on all cylinders here with 6 laps to go, continuing to put cars down. Now it's Aaron Morant in second. He'll try to slide under the 19. Caden Cornell takes a similar line as he tries to keep pace with the 1X. Fenwald's lead narrowing, but it's still a monster, over 4 seconds as he tries to work around the cars at the back of the pack. 3.2 seconds now, Shane. 4 laps to go. Morant keeps inching closer, but it's not close enough. And now Caden Cornell slows. Ashley Lancaster gets around him, and Fenwald dealing with lap traffic. Aaron Morant in a heap of trouble there for a moment, and everybody keeps charging with 3 laps.
Johnny Fenwald's championship run nearly came to an end as he was trying to get around Larry Jones. They came together, but Fenwald a great job of checking up, letting Larry Jones get straightened back out, and then completing the pass.
The differential, though, between Fenwald and Morant is now 1.5 seconds, but they are running out of laps. The 99 has a puff of smoke, and Fenwald runs under the white flag. 1 lap to go now for Johnny Fenwald. Aaron Morant trying to reel him in. Fenwald enters turn 3. He was the track champion in 2017. He was the track champion in 2018. He is a race winner here tonight in front of Aaron Morant, and Johnny Fenwald is going to do it again.